Thousands of children in India have lost one or both parents to COVID-19. Now there's the prospect of a surge of abandoned minors. In the past 24 hours, the country has reported over 4,000 deaths. India's healthcare system has been overwhelmed, with hospitals turning patients away after running short of beds, oxygen and COVID-19 medication. Joining me now to unpack this is the former Tribune of India Senior Associate Editor, Prasad Kunduri. Prasad, good afternoon, South African time. Thank you for joining me. So, in as far as the numbers are concerned, the number of new infections, it does seem that the tide is starting to recede from the peak of some 414,000 new cases about 2 weeks ago to where we are, around 267,000 new cases. But India did set a new record for newly recorded deaths in the world at some 4,529. What's the picture that's emerging from these numbers on the ground in India?
Good afternoon. It's a fact that the numbers of people who are testing positive has come down very sharply. If you remember, about a week ago when we spoke on eNCA, I did mention that the turnaround seems to be evident. The numbers are going down. Two factors is the lockdowns across cities and states have been imposed. That has restricted the movement of people. And that obviously has led to this. Of course, the testing has been at a pace which is okay, but there are reports at different places at different times. But the death, of course, is a matter of concern. But just about 2 days ago, when the national press conference was held by the Ministry of Health and Health, they did mention that the actual positivity and the death rate is below 2%. So that, of course, in terms of sheer numbers would add up. But then this is the turnaround that they're noticing. We'll have to wait and see because, yes, in the last 2 weeks, there has been a dip, but we need to sustain it and see what happens when, again, you start gradually unlocking as they go along.
Just talk to me about the picture then in as far as the impact of the virus in communities, particularly the report coming out, the reports about concern about the welfare of children, many of whom will be left as orphans, having lost either one or both parents.
Yeah, this is a concern. This is a societal concern. In fact, it's not just people, children who have lost or either of the parent or both the parents. There is an additional factor that is children whose parents either or have been affected by COVID, and they seem to have an issue largely. One thing I must add here that India has had a very good system of community support in terms of family. Extended families, uncles and aunts, they've all been what used to be known as a joint family system. But over the years, especially in the urban areas, that has increasingly turned to nuclear families. That being the case, you're noticing that the number of children who have lost or parents affected have come into distress. Now, the government of India has now been carrying on a systemic campaign. And if I were to take a minute and show you, for instance, this morning the newspaper has carried this ad. This is a campaign which says, Public Announcement for Protection of Children During COVID-19. Now, I hope you can see it. So this is something a campaign which has been carried across in newspapers and multimedia, where the government is telling people what are the systems in place, because there are reports that many people are getting messages about adoption. Now, we have a very strong and robust adoption system in place. There is a centralized agency called CARA, which is the Central Adoptive Resource Agency, which falls under the Government of India in the Department of Women and Child Welfare. So these are there, but of course these are difficult times, and a lot of people have a tug of heart around this time and are looking to help such families, especially kids who are in distress. So this is a societal issue, and everybody seems to be concerned and how best to address it.
Yeah, I suppose those measures need to be taken, Prasad, given concerns about exploitation of children as well as trafficking of children in India.
Yeah, that's exactly the advertisement I showed in particular does mention this fact to caution people that please don't fall prey for offers of adoption of children who are in distress. Because this cannot be done as per law. There's a very strict procedure in place, both for people, prospective parents who want to adopt children, and also there's a social welfare measure which is in place, which has been in place for a pretty, very long time. And also the Hague Convention that is there for people who want to wish to adopt from international other countries. So this is for instance, today's advertisement, which I just showed to the benefit of your viewers. It says very clearly a person can be jailed if he or she is involved in child trafficking, illegal adoption, child labor, child marriage, child sexual abuse, and cruelty to a child, or any other crime against a child. So the government and the laws are in place. It's only a question of enforcement, and as we all know that the law enforcing agencies are also stretched because of the COVID and the spread of COVID, try and help put lockdowns in place. And this is something that adds to the law enforcing authorities. But as I mentioned, this is a societal responsibility, and a lot of non-government organizations, civil society people, and do good people are coming forward to see how best they can address this issue.